member introductions. What was that? Oh, we're recording. Steve, do it. I've noticed there's issues with that, personally. Really? I'm 75 and I'm still alive. Can't believe it.
Mr. Mike. I'll do it again.
Hello, I'm Steve, and my call sign is Whiskey 6 Victor Delta Papa.
And I'm Gert, KK6 ZGA.
New
Secretary?
extra.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that. Thank you.
And I'm Hank, Kilo 6 Hotel Uniform Hotel, and I'm not extra.
It's a safer household that way.
I'm Bob, KF6 ABC.
Mike, K7 GFM. I'm Randy, Whiskey 6 X-Ray Bravo Charlie.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, Kilo India 1 Tango Yankee.
Good evening. It's Wilson, November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot. I just got my extra 2 at the.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. Thank you. Pacificon.
KD6 GBY Arthur Clark. I'm Bob, November 6th, Papa Golf, Quebec.
I'm Ken, Kilo Echo 6, Romeo Michael November, and newsletter editor.
This is Mike, N1YCN.
I'm Glenn, KM6 RGQ.
I'm Marie Martin. After 40 years, I'm going after my license. I'm XYL to WB6YLK.
Very good, Greta.
WB6YLK.
We've got, yeah.
I'm George, N6YG.
I'm Bill, November 6 Whiskey Lima Mike.
I'm James, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf.
We're going to get them.
I'm Carol, KP4MD, and you introduce yourself?
Let's get Clyde in the game.
Yeah, I'm Clyde, AB4CC, the other 4 call in the room.
And I'm Phil, KD6RM. Who do we have on the screen? We got Carl, N6CKV.
Good evening, everyone. N6CKV.
And I see we've got Mike, NY or N1YCN. You have to push the space bar.
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
We've got Robert. I don't know what Robert's call is. Space bar. No, it's not working. How about Rick?
Good evening, all. W0KI.
And then we've got another Rick, Rick 4.
KM6MZY. Good evening.
Good evening. And it looks like Gary Hayes is coming online. Well, we're waiting for him at Tom Cutter, W6BS.
Hey, Phil, as you said, Tom Cutter, my name is typed there. I'm Whiskey 6 Bravo here. Hi, everybody.
And Stephen, KG6 BPO.
Yes, good evening. It's Stephen, KG6 BPO.
And we've got a Frank Ibarra.
Good evening, everybody. Frank, Kilo November 6 Golf Alpha Alpha.
Do we have any more online? Thank you, one and all. Do we have a treasurer's report? We do.
We have a treasurer. Yeah, he was trying to give it away though. In fact, he wanted to give it away a year ago. Well, he isn't doing it, but there are 4 evergreen donors, 5 family membership, 130 general members.
Oh, I can go ahead and read it. We have a total of 151 members. That's the membership side of things. And do we have a treasurer's report? Oh, here we go. Currently, our bank balance is $9,891.14, which is a pretty good place to go. Looks like we just paid our tower fee for our West Sacramento site and our Google website subscription fee. And it looks like money's coming in from PayPal. And if anyone's interested, the repeater fund sends at $3,400.
$530 for the white elephant. That's a lot of money.
It is. Well, I was going to cover that in a second. And our general fund's right at $6,500. Reinstatement. How about website activity, Carol?
Yeah, I can share that. Let me stop share and then I'll go over to bring that up. And start the slideshow and then I have to share that. That's funny. Go here and then share. And that should work. There we go. Okay, this is the website. This is the web resource report for N6NA for the past month, the month of October. And just want to remind everyone that our website is n6na.org, and we keep all our information for the club updated on there, as well as information from other clubs and the amateur radio community in general in our Sacramento area. There is a call out for nominations for the 2023 annual Lila Frank Memorial Award. Person one has to be a current member of the club who has been exceptional in service to the club, is recognized every year. And we do give this award at the December meeting, which is going to be coming up, our dinner. Please submit any nominations you have by email to contact at n6na.org by November 15th, and that'll give us enough time to get the plaque engraved.
You know, this is a very big deal. Recipients of that award have done really great stuff for our club, so we like to recognize them.
And also on the website, there is a place where you can, right on the homepage, you can select your entree for the holiday dinner, which is going to be Tuesday, December 5th at the Old Spaghetti Factory on Sunrise Avenue in Roseville. The selections are the spaghetti with marinara sauce, spaghetti with meat sauce, or the baked lasagna. And that includes a salad, a soup, baked bread, and
a drink.
Yes, you get a beverage, and then you get either spumoni or vanilla ice cream as well. You
And
get
includes tax and tip.
everything. So yeah, please go ahead and do that by November 30th. That way we'll know we can go ahead and put the order in for everyone, because that's the way they prefer to do it. Okay. Oh, there's a picture of that was from the 2016 Christmas gathering, and we had quite a bunch of people there. So again, thanks again to all who've helped with the website design. And a reminder that our nets are Wednesdays evenings, 8 p.m. to our 2-meter net on 145.25. And that's also accessible through Echolink and All-Star. Also, our 10-meter sideband net is at 8:30 on 28.420 megahertz upper sideband, and technicians are allowed on that frequency. Any licensed amateur at any class can use that frequency. So we encourage you to get on there to practice your HF operation. And then we have our slow scan net, which has been going now for 12 years. And it's now on a 441.30 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. And we also stream it live on our YouTube channel. There is a brand new net, and I want to thank Jen for starting this last Wednesday. It's 7 a.m. in the morning when most of us are still just opening our eyes. This is for the ladies, and we had check-ins from Massachusetts and Minnesota, and a few from California. So we'll see how that continues. And thank you very much, Jen, for starting this up. You have enough on your plate there doing the International Space Station with the Girl Scouts as well. Reminding everybody also the roundtable net is on 40 meters at 3 p.m. on Saturdays, and that's on 7181 kilohertz lower sideband, and that's just a relaxed, casual chatting net. And come and join us there. Here's a report of the website activity for the month of October. Our web site had a total of 707 page views. The peak was 85 on October 11th. And the most visited web pages are the home page and the magnetic loop antenna project page. That was a project that we did back in 2011, and it still gets a lot of views from all around the world, since it's a really it's an amazing antenna, the magnetic loop antenna. If you haven't tried one, I know that Wilson just recently got one. And what would you want to say? Okay, for those who couldn't hear out there, he said he just hooked it up on Sunday afternoon just to see what it was like to receive, and the receive was just amazing on it. For such a small antenna, it really performs amazingly. The Nets page had 31 views, then a membership application page 30, and then a repeater page 24. That membership application page is going to be mostly now for new applications, because we want people that are doing renewals or any modifications to use the Ham Club online, which is, there's a website that we all.
How many of you have taken a look at Ham Club online? Great, great.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing, our renewals and our dues payments. When you're renewing, when you're doing a first time, we use the website, the membership application page. Yes, the renewals are from the date of your renewal, and your payment extends your membership for an entire 365 days. It isn't anymore just a calendar year from January 1st to December 31st. Again, see, most of our views, about half of them actually were came through search engines like Google, Bing, and almost half also were direct hits to our n6na.org website. And most of the hits, again, were from the United States. We do get some views from all around the world: Australia, Germany, United Kingdom, Mexico, Switzerland. All these other little countries you see lit up with colors have also visited our website. Social media, we now have 423 subscribers on a YouTube channel. We had 507 views during the last month. And we have 845 followers on our Facebook page. Twitter page has 154 followers, and we have a Discord chat with 35 members. We do keep our social media really active, and it's really the way to reach the younger generation, because that's the way they all network now, is through social media. And again, if anybody wants to contact the board of directors or any of the officers here, you can send an email to contact@n6na.org, and we will direct it to the individual and get an answer to you. And thank you very much. That share stops. We'll stop the share and go back to our president. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. I'm going to put aside our normal report stuff so that we can have Clyde address us. He gets to go home a little earlier that way. Step on up, Clyde. Clyde is the manager of HRO here in Sacramento. He moved here, he said, because Carol's here. Is that true? Here you go, Clyde.
My name's Clyde and I'm a ham and I can quit anytime I want. Actually, AB4CC. I see a lot of familiar faces out there from the store. For those of you who haven't been there, come on down. A little bit about me. I started out as a disc jockey many, many years ago, got a FCC first class radio telephone license, which probably gives you an idea about my age. I did that for a while. The pay was lousy, but it was a fun job, really a lot of fun. Later on, I worked for JamPro Pro Antennas here in Sacramento, building commercial broadcast FM antennas, if you're familiar with those. Those are made out of copper water pipe. The feed line is generally water pipe as well. So when you say rigid line to me, I don't think about heliacs much. You have a question? Yeah. We can keep this informal. My arm
A
gets
good
tired
friend of
holding it.
mine many years ago did some stuff with GenPro. Did you ever know a guy named Keith Machin?
No, I didn't. keep-
K6WG?
No, he wasn't there. I was there in 1977, I believe. I worked there
Okay.
for about a year.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. A lot of people work there. I've found some other people that came in the store that also worked for JamPro over the years. So later on, I went to work for the state of California and ended up at the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, where I was the deputy chief of the telecommunications division. So my background in two-way radio and HF has mostly been in public safety. Too busy to be a ham. At the time I was at OES, we were instrumental in helping start the noon net that's every day at 12, still going on since 1981. I am a member of that net as well. For the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club, where I am the station trustee. So about 2.5 years ago, actually 2019, I went to PacificCon and I stopped by Ham Radio Outlet in Oakland and asked them, you guys should have a store in Sacramento. It's a long drive. And they said, we're thinking about it. So COVID happened, et cetera, et cetera. And then a few years later, I looked at the website and they were going to open a store and they were interviewing people. So I sent them my resume on a lark, figuring, hey, I'd get a part-time job, right? So I walked into the interview and they said, how'd you like to be our manager? And that's how I got the job at HRO. A little bit about the company. We've been around as Ham Radio Outlet since 1972, when Robert Ferrero, the first, he went by Bob, bought a ham radio store in Burlingame, California that was, I believe, in a little train depot. And it expanded over the years to many locations, to the current number of 12 stores. We had several stores at different locations in the Bay Area. That was mostly because of real estate, being priced out of the market and not owning the buildings. So that precipitated the move to Sacramento, where the corporation does own the building. So we're not going anywhere. So we will be here. It's a great location. It's, 2 hours in the Bay Area, still one day, one day service of shipments, to just about anywhere in Northern California. So later on, we're still a family-owned corporation, privately held. The company's current president is Robert Ferrero Jr. His son is working for the company. He is the manager of our Anaheim store. So the company is in good hands. We're going to stay in business. There's usually in family-owned companies, by the time you get to the third generation, they lose interest and the company gets sold, but that's not the case with HRO. So that's briefly the history. Anybody have any questions? I mean, there's not a lot of prepared speech here. As for coming up, there probably will be a Black Friday sale. What's going to be on sale, we won't know until that week. But keep an eye on the website because that stuff posts there right away, probably Wednesday for Thanksgiving.
Clyde, is there any new trend taking place now in amateur radio that people should be aware of?
Well, the trend has been going on for for quite a long time. It's software-defined radios. Basically, every ham radio you buy is a computer, just like your cell phone. It's pretty much all computerized and complicated menu systems, those kinds of things. And I don't see that trend going away. It's just cheaper to make them that way because you can put in, more features. There's always upgrades and firmware and things like that. People say, gee, I want this feature, and they add it until they can't add it anymore, and then they come out with a new model.
Is the main problem that your customers run into is the old antenna thing?
Well, mostly the antenna thing nowadays is a lot of us live in small suburban areas and like Jim over here, HOAs, RCCNRs, if there aren't an HOA. So there's a lot of restriction, and there's no such thing as a small HF antenna. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. Well, the magnetic loop, it's good for receive, but not so much good for transmit. The laws of physics you can't change, even though they claim that you can.
Anybody else have any questions
Any
for
other
Clyde?
questions? He does. He has a question.
Hi, this is James, AE6JG. Every once in a while, I see you're advertising for help.
Yeah, that's
Help.
true.
What are you looking for? And what kind of people do you like to,
Well,
to hire? I'm looking at Wilson in particular.
Yeah. Randy worked for us for a while too. So he had some other issues. And anyway, the primary requisite to work for HROs, you have to be a ham. Doesn't matter what class, but the only person that isn't a ham in our stores is the shipper. And that's the only one that isn't required to be a ham, although in many of the stores they are. So obviously it's a hobby. You have to kind of know something about it. You don't want to come to the store and I want a ham radio. People go, what's that? Yes, Wilson.
So obviously, because, we don't have any we only have one ham radio store in town, I would, think of ways I could be a better customer, right? So, obviously I'm going to come there and I'm going to shop for things, and I might have to comparison shop at times, but do you have any programs for competitive pricing, or what kind of advice do you have to your customer base to help support you better?
Well, we do price matching with authorized dealers of the equipment like Gigaparts and DX Engineering and Arnell and a couple of others. They have to be a legitimate dealer in the United States. Somebody wanted us to price match a dealer in Japan. Well, it's a whole other radio that they sell, even though it's the same number. It's different because of their rules and regulations. And they have to have the item in stock. And we will price match. All you need, bring in the website, whatever. Everybody has their phone and say, look, these guys have it. We'll do that. That's not a problem.
Have you had enough of us, Clyde?
It's fine. If anybody has more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah. Been a long day. So.
Thank you. I'm Carol, KP for MD. Now, I didn't quite understand it. Have you had prior experience with retail in amateur radio at all?
Me, before I joined HRO,
Yes.
no, but I had some retail and wholesale electronics.
Oh, okay.
Many years ago.
So you found there was a pretty natural just to return to that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is not your regular retail. It's not like Ace Hardware, we don't have a lot of disgruntled customers, or those kinds of things. It's a hobby shop. People want to be in our store. They want to spend their money there. They're in the hobby. They know it costs, they want the equipment. So it's a whole different ballgame than straight retail or working fast food, which I did many years ago going to college. I managed a McDonald's. That's a real different thing.
Do you provide any service for any of the equipment, any repair service?
Well, we do Mars modifications that so you don't void your warranty. So, open up the frequency transmit capability of some of the radios. Most of the radios are so complex anymore, they're surface mount technology that they get sent back to the manufacturer. There just isn't time or space or energy to do board level repairs in the store.
You have another one more question.
Sure.
We hear a lot of problems with security in retail and risk because of problems with crime and theft and possible violence towards people in sales. What kind of advice would you have with respect to that? And have you experienced anything of that?
We haven't seen very much of that at all. The area we're in is pretty low crime. The sheriff's department's been pretty good about keeping the homeless population down. We've had 2 shoplifting incidences that we know about. That's it. One, we actually saw the guy, and then another one, we found some missing merchandise. A couple of people were in the store. We have a non-pursuit.
That's very good. And, this is important because shoplifting just raises the prices for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it puts at risk the continuation of the store in the community.
Yeah. So it's been very minor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well,
My question is, what kind of opportunity does the store provide for supporting new hams, getting people interested in the hobby? How, are you doing anything that would promote that specifically?
we do some things when people wander in the store. We've had people come in and we introduce them to clubs in the area. Carol provides a lot of material about the ARRL and things like that. We have a lot of books. We do get some phone calls about that. We do promote places that they can go, local clubs, how to get in touch with them, things like that. We don't offer classes because we don't have the space or anything like, but enough clubs do. So.
Thank you.
A couple questions in the back there. Jennifer has one. Else had one earlier. You can ask me anything. I may not answer. What is that? The Fifth Amendment? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Do you do custom cables for individuals?
No, we do not do custom cables, but ABR does. And that's one of the vendors that we sell cables for. That's another very time consuming thing. And we'd have to charge an arm and a leg. And, it's just a lot of work to do cabling correctly.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. Do you sell basic electronic supplies like spools of solder, anything like that, soldering iron tips?
They did at one time, but they don't do that now. Sacramento Electronic Supply in Rancho Cordova does. They're still in town here and they're still in business.
It's like the only one. It's sometimes very frustrating, It's
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I know Metro went away and places like that.
Yeah,
Fry's was the end. Yeah, that's brick and mortar's been just really tough with the internet, among those things. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other. That I used to do that, sell components and so. Yeah, when I worked in the Bay Area, I worked for a place called Dunlap Electronics, and we did a lot. Yeah, that's what they used to supply TV repair places, but we did a lot of supplying of stuff to the people in Silicon Valley. The last 4 digits of the phone number, remember, were 7388. Because old man Dunlap was a ham, and he picked the number.
Do you have any problems securing inventory? Are there items that you can't get that are back ordered?
Yeah, there are, but less than when we opened the store 2.5 years ago. Everything was in short supply because there was still a lot of COVID, stuff back up in factories and component shortages. I'm glad to say that those are clearing up. In fact, I got an email today that ICOM is now shipping the IC 7100, which we haven't been able to get for 1.5 years. So we're getting a few units in the next week or two. So we pretty much now have a good supply of the things that we sell. There's a few items that are always going to be in short supply. It's just the way it is.
Clyde, I guess last year you had an event in the parking lot.
Yeah.
This kind of follows on Gert's question. Are there plans to do more public events at the location?
Yeah, we're talking about probably on a Saturday morning or something, like a ham swap or something like that, because our parking lot is basically empty during the weekend. So.
Right. It would, but I could envision, again, Gert, I'm following on your idea, if that was promoted to people who are not yet hams as well
Right.
somehow.
Yeah, Sheriff Sharp
Yeah.
came out and they're
Yeah.
gonna come out again, and they got a lot of people interested that came out and wandered around. They had a good time. We had a good time.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. of. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
they
it.
bought some equipment, it was fun.
That's good.
And yeah, our president saw for doing that, and we had talked about it. We're gonna try to get something organized, probably in the spring before it gets too hot, and depending on the weather, of course, but.
Thanks. Hi. Bill, November 6 Whiskey Lima Mike. I've noticed when I've gone in that you guys have like most radios on display to play with, and there's a lot of switches to switch a coax to the specific radio you're working on. I was just wondering if you could speak more about how that works and the kind of antenna systems you have on top, and do you guys ever get to play with it after work?
Yeah. Well, we have two antennas on the roof. That's it. We have a CHA 250 HD from Comet. That's a vertical HF antenna. It's a pretty decent antenna. I have one of those while at home. And that's all our HF network. And then we have a dual band X50, actually, diamond dual bander up there, just because of population on the roof, intermod, things like that. We don't need all those antennas. So there's just basically two banks of switches. One's for the top row of radios, which is all UHF, VHF. And then the bottom row is all the HF deck. That's basically how we have it. So everything, just about everything is out there except for the IC 905, which is the super high frequency radio. We do have those for sale. We just don't put them out. There's nobody to, we don't have an antenna system for it, one, and the radio is extremely expensive. It's $2,300 or something, just to start. And that's before you get the extra stuff that goes with it, Yeah. We have sold a couple, mostly to ham clubs in the Bay Area.
Hi, Clyde. Just curious. I've got Yaesu HF gear, but I'm curious about Kenwood. What has happened with Kenwood? I don't see a lot of Kenwood
Everybody
stuff.
would like to know that.
Oh,
No, Kenwood's around. They are producing HF gear. A couple of years ago, there was a fire in a chip factory in Japan, which impacted everybody, including Ford Motor Company. They had F-150s sitting at the factory they couldn't ship because they couldn't get the computer chips. So that was part of it. At that time, Kenwood decided to concentrate on their commercial business. They have a huge commercial business. They do police and fire radios and taxi cab radios, industrial strength repeaters, those kinds of things. So they've been concentrating on that business. The Kenwood that we get in is mostly parts. They have announced the D75 tri-band handheld. They're still, it's a production item. They're still waiting on FCC approval, so we don't know exactly what it's going to cost yet. But we do check reservations, so that should be out shortly. And they are getting back into the amateur field again. The 990 is still in production. It's just hard to get. Same with all of their HF gear.
The 3 bands, is that the 2 meter 440 and the
220, 1.25 meter. Yeah, it's basically the 74, the D74 handheld that was out before that was tri-band. It's an upgraded model of that, so that's coming. But we think before the end of the year, but no promises yet. We're waiting on the feds. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Until we find out the price, but. That happened when the ICOM ID52 came out. Their top of the line handheld. We had reservations for that for 2 years, and then we called up some people and they said, "I did what?" Oh, did I reserve one of those? And then we told them the price, and a lot of people bought them. And the others go, "We don't think so," because they started out at $650 a piece. They're down from that now, but I expect that the Kenwood will be in that price range as well. That's what the 74 was selling for.
Any other questions for Clyde? Thank God you get a break.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me tonight.
It's certainly our pleasure.
And come on down. We're friendly. We don't bite. We talk ham radio.
Do you have coffee?
Yeah, on occasion. That all stopped with COVID though, but we could probably find a couple in the background. Yeah. Right, well, there's a Dutch Brothers right down the street, so.
We could retreat.
Yeah, we
The
could work
Dutch-
something
Dutch
out, or
Bro.
at least if we do a Saturday morning thing, we'll get a thing of coffee down there for everybody.
Well, Clyde, again, thank you. You've been very gracious in spending your precious time with our group. And we do sincerely appreciate it. Hopefully we can spend a few nickels in your backyard.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Like I said, I recognize a lot of you from this store.
Thanks,
again.
Clyde.
Thanks again for having me.
I've got a couple other items here I thought I'd go over with you. Coming activities, our holiday dinner is December 5th. You've probably heard this several times. November 5th, Spaghetti Factory on Sunrise in Roseville. And I don't have a count currently on how many people have reserved their meals. But I should tell you that we're actually subsidizing part of that just to kind of help things along and to encourage attendance. So it's easy to do on the website. You just go online and how many of which kind of meal you wish to order. It's a PayPal thing, painless, and that'll work. The other thing we've got going on that we need to do tonight is deal with nominations, and we need to vote. Thanks, Clyde. Thank you once again. We've got some board member candidates. New board member candidates include Jennifer Garland, KI1TTY. Stand up and take a bow. Ooh. And Neil. Neil's not here tonight. Oh, is he doing that again? You must think he's a sailor. Neil is KL7HQR. Cruise. And then the other open position we have is Wilson Head, Mr. EMF, is nominated to be treasurer next year. There's a bow. And the way this thing fits together, we actually had another nomination for president. And that nomination was for James. But James and I already had this discussion. He's not going to do that this year. He's not going to stand in for a nomination. He wants to spend a little more time working with the organization before he takes on my hat. I'm sorry? We've already discussed that, haven't we? So in any event, I need a show of hands for those who are in favor of the existing board members that are staying in their job description. And for these new nominees, all in favor say aye. Raise your hand. Any abstentions?
Aye.
Ooh. Oh.
Raise your hands on Zoom if you agree.
Any dissent? Good. Well, guess what? You're officially new board members. There's a couple other things that are going on that I thought we should cover. And thank you. You'll enjoy it. It's actually a very good board. People get things done. We have a good time. There's no fighting, as long as Art behaves himself. Well, occasionally behaves himself. Other board member issues. We got some bylaw revision things we're going to deal with this year. And we've had a little bit of discussion about this backup repeater thing. We need to have pancakes. So I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday available if any of those days work. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. No? Well, tomorrow I've got something else going on. Actually, I have a SIR meeting. But they don't have any dancing girls. Next week is open. Whatever works for you guys will work for me. Okay, so Jennifer, you want to fill us in a little bit on what's going on with Eris?
Hi, Steve. I'm good. Good to see you. So, should start with George. He's in the manufacturing process of making things all work with his brand new 9700. Did you get one too? Yeah. So you want to tell us first about what you're working on? Which is a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't actually prepared for this, but we're just putting
Surprise.
together well, right now I'm just working and testing the radio, seeing how it works with the satellites, and I will report that it is very good. It works real well. Very sensitive. I was tracking I think AO73 today, and I was doing that on a dual band Diamond 500 vertical, which normally shouldn't really work, but I can see it on the trace and I can hear it, and it was working well. So that's the 9700 is very interesting in the fact that it doesn't have a general coverage receiver, which is something that you find in almost all the other ham satellite radios. They've got front ends that are like a barn door. So pager interference, nearby stuff, it all clutters the band. You can see it if you have a pan adapter on it. The 9700 on 2 meters and 440, except for the pave pause, is very quiet. So it's got very good type front end filtering. It's something we're not really going to need with the ISS. ISS is, on 2 meter FM is, pretty easy to copy.
So far you really like the 9700.
I like it a lot. I think it's a great radio. I've tested the coax that we got. I hooked it up to the VNA, made sure it was good. Don't want to hook up a brand new radio to coax that's got a short in it, And so that's about it. Control cables need to be made up because, as you know, the G5500 rotator comes with a terminal strip on the back of it, and all the cables come with Molex connectors on it. And in Yaesu's infinite wisdom, they use a proprietary Molex connector where you can't get the female, or if you can, they're impossible to find. So we're going to have to cut those off, and they tell you in the manual you have to cut them off. And generally you would just hook those to the terminal strip, but I've never been a fan of doing that when you have to tear it down, because we're going to have to tear it down and transport it and set it up. So I've ordered Molex connectors, and we'll crimp those off and make it so it's all, when you set it up at site, you just plug the rotator.
Plug and play.
Yeah, plug and play.
Which is great.
Yeah, no hooking wires up, that's, what's that, 12 wires to hook up. Get them backwards. Rotator goes the wrong way. That won't be good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So George is working on the hardware setup currently, and we just have a few more things that are coming in front that we ordered. But we completed our 6 sessions, thanks to James and Carol and a few others, Cam and Noemi, and Amanda, the Girl Scout leader. So we went through all our 6 sessions, and we had 2 GOTA evenings, and George and Neil helped with the GOTA evening, as well as Dave, KK6 MVJ, and he helped us by letting us do a couple of net runs just before his, on one night just before his Elk Grove meeting, and then the next week we had Peter as net control, and so we got them on the air and got them starting to touch the equipment, and they actually looked like they had a really good time. And we had some people that really stepped up to the plate the next week. And when I said, I brought them in unanticipated, but I brought them in and said, hey, we're going to get on the radio again for those of you who want to come over. And quite a few of them got up and got back on the air, which was great. So the next phase is what George is working on, getting the rest of the gear in, setting it up, testing it. And then we'll move it to the Girl Scout Center, start testing there, work with the girls on practicing their questions and working with the audio visual Carol. And then last but not least is liftoff in February, somewhere in February. Our date right now is February 19th, but it can wiggle around there. And they'll give us 10 or so dates and times, and then we'll pick our top 5 and hope that we get somewhere close to that. So that's where we are right now. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun. And George has been immensely helpful on all parts of this, and a great resource.
I do have one.
So far, no girls, James' question was, any of the girls want to get their license? So far, they haven't told me that. And I think the folks that had helped with our connections on the radio and in class probably got their QSL cards. I know Carol did, and I know that Dave did. He was really thrilled. So yours should.
Yeah, I do have one request, something that we're looking for that I'd rather avoid buying, is that they'd make us buy 50 feet of it. If anybody remembers the military masts, the old fiberglass, it came in fiberglass and also aluminum. Field deployable masts. I'm looking for. Are they fiberglass masts? We need a non-conductive boom.
Bob, were they fiberglass or were they metal? They are. Tom might know too.
Okay.
Oh, so we got that in the trailer.
I only have the metal one, so which is fine for testing, but we're gonna need a non-conductive boom. So, and those work well. All right, that's
All right.
good.
Well, that's good. That's it for me.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, George. Would Sean happen to be here, KM6 NFO? Jennifer made some bottle openers. Okay, our white elephant sale last month was quite a success. We ended up pocketing $530, and I hope I wasn't too nasty to any of you in trying to get money out of your wallet. Actually, I was happy to get money out of your wallet. No broken arms. It was fun. Carol already talked about the Lyle Frank Award. And again, any nominations that you can think of, I'd love to get them in so we can get the selection process handled, get things engraved, be ready for it. The other thing I want to mention is the Sacramento Library Association places limits on how many times you can use one of their facilities. And at this point, they've not denied us anything, but I suspect that's going to happen. So in the next couple of days, I'll make reservations for January, February, March, because I like to do 3 at a time. And if there's no conflict, when those start running through, I'll try it again. If not, we'll probably be using the Carmichael or the Fair Oaks facility, just as we did for our white elephant sale. We're just going to have to vacillate back and forth. Finding a meeting place is not an easy task these days. Oh, at our Christmas event, every year we've asked people to bring toy gifts or any kind of gifts for children that we end up giving to Chris Huber's wife to take down to Weave. That's women escaping a violent environment. And the same thing's true this year. I think it was $10 was the limit. So when you're thinking about our holiday event, that's one of the things that we try to do is, yes, Art? Yes, they're unwrapped. And we'll have a note out to that effect. But again, that's one of the things that you might want to be thinking about. And the other thing that we're doing this year that's a little different, we're going to pick up the dinner tab for both Chris Huber, his wife, and Russ Brill and his wife, just in appreciation for the efforts they put into keeping that repeater system of ours going. It's not an easy task. They do great things, and we need to reinforce our appreciation for that. Okay. In January, we're going to have a raffle. We're going to have door prizes. The bottom line here is a raffle is gambling. We're not allowed to gamble. So everybody who attends the meetings will get a ticket that's good for the door prize. It'll be a drawing. If you wish to, for a small donation, you can buy additional tickets for the door prize. That's not gambling. And the reason we're going to do this is to encourage more physical attendance. We're actually doing pretty well tonight. I didn't make a head count, but we've got 24 chairs out, and all but 5 or 6 of them are filled. So we're doing okay. But again, the idea is to promote attendance. And then the final thing we talked about, everybody should check into Ham Club online. All of our stuff's going to start happening there. They'll be sending out the newsletter via Ham Club online. Any kind of information that needs to get out to the membership will go that way. All of your membership renewals will be handled that way. Any messages to get out to you will come through that mechanism. It's a great venue. It's a great portal. Yes, Steve? It's $1 per member per year.
They suggest $1 per member. They're not trying to make money on it because
you can't beat
it's,
that.
No, right. Sierra uses it. North Hills doesn't use it yet. Yeah.
There's a learning curve that goes on with it. There's some effort involved, but I think you'll find it's quite a great deal. And unless there's some questions, well, how about some questions?
I have a question. We had an offer from one of our members to pick up these ICOM V80 handheld radios. Yeah, I think it was a pack of 10 of them was. And this individual was Tony N6DXX. He was going to pay for half of it and then give them to the club to use for the door prizes. And I wonder what the thoughts are. This is a radio that works on 6 AA batteries. That's what it comes with, a holder just for the AA batteries. And the person who gets them can decide to buy the rechargeable batteries and the chargers later if they want. And it's only 2 meters. It's not a dual band radio. So any thoughts about that? Because there's a special on it.
It's a great radio. I own one. And I get into all the repeaters around here with it. It's a good radio. And you can buy the rechargeable pack for it. It's a little expensive, but it costs as much as the radio does. But it's a great radio. And it's 5. Yeah. No, it's a full handheld.
Microprocessor.
Yeah.
You know about that stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I would say yay on that. And you can get them for $25 a piece when you buy a package of 10. I was talking to Mike about that, doing the same thing over at North Hills. So yeah, I recommend, yes. I mean, we got plenty of money. It's a ICOM V80.
I think a decision on that will happen at the board meeting.
Are there other thoughts about that? Is it possible these would be good for new hams? I know that, one of the things we keep talking about is getting new people into the hobby. Would this be the kind of thing that if you got your license, the club would?
Well, the prizes that we were talking about for this door prize thing were the Nano VNA, the Tiny SA, length of RG8X, probably a 50-foot length. And I had listed Bofang radio, but this certainly fills the Bofang slot. A lot better quality. It's only one band, but that's 99% of the action anyway. Well, almost. What's that?
Radio is, I was curious if that particular radio was computer programmable or not. It is? Yeah, so you just.
I
use a
think
cable.
everything is
Yeah,
this
just
day.
clone it. So when you get them, just clone them with all the local repeaters. You can always offer them as an incentive for new memberships. join the club, first time new member, get a radio.
We probably wouldn't do that. We'd probably do it as part of our door prize thing, but yeah. There's no reason we can't do that. All right. And so what we're talking about is splitting a pack of 10.
Well, Tony was gonna pay for half of it, and then the entire package was going to the club. So he was donating half of the cost of the
Well,
package.
how much money are we talking?
The package was 200 something, 250 for 10 radios. So we would be spending like $12.50 a radio.
All in favor?
Aye.
We solved that.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
And thanks to Tony for offering this to the club.
That's a great deal. All right. Anything else? Bob. Oh, Bob's got a radio.
Yeah, I bought this radio from Ed Fong, and it's called the Micro SDX Plus. It's a software-defined radio. It covers 8 bands, HF. It's a transceiver that puts out like 3.5 watts. Maybe it's 5. I'm not sure. I haven't tested that, but I have had contacts up and down the state from Reading to LA, and it really works nicely. And I think it's a terrific little radio. It was $155. It'd be a great thing to give to a young person who wants to get into HF. But anyway, yeah. And Mike here is going to buy one. And if anybody wants to buy one, talk to Mike, and he'll get, a couple of them at the same time. So it's a Micro SDX Plus. Ed Fong gave a talk at his house that we went and listened to, a bunch of us. And he talked about the technology, and he was dazzled by it. So it's 8 bands. 8 bands, yeah. When you take the top off, you see all kinds of coils in there for band switching, so, and relays. So, yeah, I think it's a great buy, and it works well for me. So I'm using it for other purposes too. I believe it's made in China. It does not say so on here. It doesn't say it's approved by the FCC or anything either, but but anyway, you're welcome to come over and look at it here. So.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, anything else? Carol's got something.
Yeah, I have one little thing on that I'd like to demonstrate here. This is the HamClock app for the Raspberry Pi, and actually I have one working here. It's the Raspberry Pi is a single board computer, which is on the back of this case that Hank printed for me on his 3D printer. And we're going to hold up to the camera so you can see. I don't know if it's going to be in focus.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is, okay, I'm trying to hold it straight. There you go. It shows you a map of the world with all kinds of what the propagation is. It gives you the local weather, the solar flux, the K index. You can get a propagation chart there. That's the vocap. And then it's got the time in UTC, which is 0359 right now, and the time in the local time as well, which I have to set. It's saying that it's 7:59, which actually it is. That's correct. Okay, and this is customizable. All of these little panels could be set for all kinds of different radio-related information, and this software is completely free. You can just download it onto a little micro SD card and micro SD card, and there it is. That's the Raspberry Pi. And this is a nifty thing to have running in your shack. So it's called HamClock. And you can just Google it online, and it's a cute little thing. And the Raspberry Pi 3, that's what this is. This is an older version, which I think they still go for like about $30 a piece, this little computer. And the screen, if you want to get the 7-inch screen, that you can get that on Amazon for like $40. And Hank is doing a wonderful job. He's offering to do 3D printing for the club for anybody who wants to give him any projects to print. So thank you very much for that, Hank. Okay. This is called HamClock. No, I didn't have this at the Maker Faire. George, microphone.
I actually have one of those. I was running the software long before I put it on a Raspberry Pi, but there's a company that sells that for $35. And I forgot what the name of the company is. Do you remember what it is? You know? He uses.
Yeah, if you go to clearskyinstitute.com, you can, they have the information for the way you can order that.
Yeah, you can't put it together for that price. Now, well, it doesn't come with a screen. You have to, provide your own screen, but it's a good deal.
Thank you. Oh, there is a Zoom question on chat, right, about the
W6BS is asking if we can order other types of sauces instead of the 3.
No.
That's what okay. So,
but the restaurant limits us to 3 choices. And that's just the way they do these banquets. I wish we had a better option. I asked about gluten-free. We've got members who are interested in gluten-free, and they said we can order those at the event, but nothing beyond that. Anything else? Our new extras. I'm really beginning to feel like a minority.
Wilson just walked into the testing room at Pacificon and said, I guess I should see if I can pass.
During Pacificon,
2 question pools expired on you. Okay.
During Pacificon, Deb and I typically go down, and that's right where our anniversary is. Well, this year was anniversary number 50. And had I taken her to Pacificon, I would be sleeping in the garage with the dog, and we don't have a dog. I made the only choice. Okay. All set, all done, all ready to go home? We got to put chairs up. There's a chair caddy there, and whatever's left over we can put underneath the tables. I thank you one and all. It's a good crowd.
Have a good evening, all. 73s.
Hmm. 73 is all in 60 kV.
Everybody have a great night. Good evening.